Welcome back to the Traders Network. I'm Michael Yorba, your host. We're also streaming to you live on yorbamedia.com. I've got Nick Santiago, President and CEO of In the Money Stocks, with me now. Nick, thanks for coming on the show.
Great to be here, Michael. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about today, and I wanted to start it off. Everybody gets their turn at bat on this one. Your take on what's going on with this European bailout?
Well, it looks like the plan came out today. I was really a little bit unsure exactly when they were going to make a formal announcement, but it looks like it was today. Markets are in jubilee mode over it. The only problem is that we've rallied up from October 4th, well over 10% already. A lot of times the best moves come at the end of moves, so I would tell all the people out there listening, be very, very careful about jumping on board now. Let this thing really pull back and settle in, and then, maybe you could buy the market again for another bounce. But at this stage, to commit money up here is absolute insanity.
Yeah, I've got I blogged it today, 1308 resistance level off on the S&Ps, and I'm kind of curious because you're pretty good at this stuff. What's your obviously, don't jump in now, but
No. In fact,
somebody's got to pick
what I've told my subscribers is I was expecting the sell-off to occur either tomorrow afternoon, late tomorrow afternoon, or Tuesday. Monday's usually light volume day. We don't look for a lot of turning points on Monday. But I think tomorrow, maybe even tomorrow afternoon, profit-taking will begin in this market.
Yeah, Nevada said he's going to be on the road, and that's our guest or our audience member in the shout box, and he wanted me to specifically ask you about your cycle points, and that tells me that you've got a couple of them, or is it a window from tomorrow through Tuesday?
This is just a short-term turning point.
Okay.
I really never expected the market to rally up this far, this quickly. Honestly, I just didn't expect it to ever get this high, this fast. However, I wrote in my newsletter early this week on Monday. I said, we'll look for a turning point. However, I don't expect it. I expect the high of this market to come in on Friday, and it's happening today, so a day early. But you're going to get the final short squeeze right here, and then I think we're going to get a pretty decent pullback. I'm not expecting new lows or the October 4th low to get taken out. Just a real decent pullback, maybe 5 to 8%.
Okay, that sounds. How do you get a hold of that newsletter?
You can come to our website at inthemoneystocks.com, sign up for our research center, and you'll get our nightly videos, our daily market report, all of our hot charts alerts. They're emailed, they're text message to you when we have a new post up. We post numerous times a day. And
let's talk about China for a second, because we've got France and we've got Germany. They're worried about being able to handle the debt that they're going to have to deal with, and they're asking China to show up. So I want to hear what your thoughts are on China.
Well, right now, I guess China's going to put out some conditions. I guess they are going to loan some money. China's stuck between a rock and a hard place because their economy is a little bit on the softer side right now. They've actually been devaluating their currency to try to get their stock market higher as well. So you have a lower U.S. dollar index. U.S. dollar index has fairly fallen off a cliff. Now you have the yuan starting to weaken. This is almost another perfect storm brewing very soon. So when you have China coming in and having to bail out the European Union, and their economy now is starting to slow down, and it's obviously happening already. We've seen it in many of the Chinese ADRs, stocks such as Baidu and Sina. These stocks have not acted well recently. Today, obviously, everything's rallying, but these stocks have showed us that the Chinese market is starting to soften up. If these people cannot maintain 9.5% GDP or higher, there's trouble on the horizon, and I think we're going to see that in the first half of 2012.
Yeah, we had a guest on yesterday that was looking for next year a complete credit lockup and a massive crisis coming out of China. Most people are thinking, "Oh no, that's our safe haven," but maybe not.
Oh no, definitely not. What's going to happen is next year will be really the crisis will really come out next year, but. Again, they're going to solve it the same way. It's going to be a great trading opportunity because we're going to get another probably a great buying opportunity after a big fall.
Okay. Well, let's move to the TLT, because we had somebody in there that you talked about it last week, and somebody talked about it this week. I've been talking about the bond market for quite a while, about this topping pattern, and we had a huge drop in the bond market today. You don't often see 3.5 points.
It's a tremendous decline.
Yeah, I'm thinking something big is on the horizon. But let's look at it from the TLT point of view.
Well, last week we had I guess one of your listeners talk about it, and I said to watch the 110 or possibly that 109 gap fill area, and we're there now. So, maybe just a little bit lower to go, and you're going to get a decent tradable bounce in that TLT, I believe. So I would like your listeners to watch for that. It looks like a beautiful gap fill. You can see it on the chart. If you look at a TLT chart going back to September 1st, there's a real big level, and that was a breakout point as well. So that should hold for the short term. We'll probably get a decent little bounce there. I think it's just a tradable bounce. I don't think it's where TLT is going back up to new highs, but it'll be a tradable bounce right in that area. And I just wanted to reassure your listener that we talked about that last week.
Okay, I'm glad you said that. So a tradable bounce, but if you're saying it in the fashion that you are saying it, then that means that we've seen the turn in the long-term interest rates, and from what I'm looking at the bond market, we've got a trend that we can trade now off of the TLT or the bond market.
Yes. You definitely do. Well, I think right now, there's only 63, 64 days left in the year. So, there's not a lot of time left in the year. What will happen ultimately, I think now, is the TLT can be traded, or any the bonds can be traded to the long side at various points. However, the market most likely is going to hold up until the end of the year. Next year, once we pass the new year, that's when we have to really be on our toes, because things are going to get nasty again.
Okay. All right. And when you say nasty again, you mean what they didn't finish today in Europe or recently in Europe is going to show up again?
Well, this bailout is not sufficient.
No.
Italy has major problems. Spain has major problems, and no one's talking about France. We saw just a movie trailer of what can happen to the French banks over the past couple of months. These banks are probably in the most trouble. So, and then Germany, their debt to GDP ratio is at 80%. That's not that wonderful. And they're the saving grace country over there. So there's still big problems. This is just another Band-Aid being put on the patient when really the patient needs heart surgery.
Yeah, it's definitely, from what I'm seeing here, we've got major issues that are showing up, but you still have to be able to trade this stuff if that's what you do. So aside from all the fear-mongering that goes on out there, what should we do? We need to be able to trade it. And let's talk about that copper market, because you've been trading it pretty good. Last time you were on the show, you said short the rallies. Well, you got one heck of a rally to short today, don't you?
I've told my subscribers right here, go short.
Right here.
Go short copper right now.
Okay.
Short copper right now. In fact, I gave out a big level last night to my subscribers. If anybody comes in and takes the free trial, you'll see my copper levels up on my website. Those are my master numbers, and I believe copper probably putting in a short-term top right now. And once copper breaks, everything breaks. So again, it's probably a pullback short right now. We'll get another bounce, but that's it. This market only has two legs left: one leg down, one leg back up, and then the big leg to the downside again, in my opinion.
Okay, so you're looking for, when you said everything goes, are you talking about this being a leading indicator for the stock market and, say, the NASDAQ and so on?
Absolutely. The legendary Jesse Livermore, one of the greatest traders of all time, his greatest tool was just to follow the price of copper. And I've been doing it for over 15 years with very, very good success. So I believe that copper is one of the leading indicators ever, and it remains that way. Okay.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because that means that we could have some very good opportunities showing up in some of the other things that you gave us before. Let's say J.P. Morgan leading the market. So if we see a confirmation turn on this copper, we have other other markets that we can also facilitate our money with.
Absolutely, absolutely. But what I would always tell your listeners, and I've told my subscribers, is to focus more on the base metals. These base metals are really talking to us, so to speak. You always want to go with the leaders, and what's leading the markets down so far has been the base metals, and I think that's going to continue, the industrial metals, base metals, to be the case going forward, even into well into 2012.
Okay. So here's another question I've got for you. If we are going to get a longer-term rally in the stock market, meaning, let me preface that, through December.
Yeah, that's the rally.
Okay. But we're looking for a top here in copper. Are you seeing some kind of a divergence between, they're going to separate themselves from running in tandem?
No. I think what's going to happen now is the market will probably put in a short-term top here within probably the next 3 trading days.
Okay.
That will bring everything back down. It won't crush everything. Everything's just going to trade lower, including copper. But copper will decline deeper than most everything else. And then we'll get another tradable rally to the upside probably till the end of the year. Okay,
now that is what everybody's been waiting for. Let's do this. Let's stop that here because they can probably get a better idea for that in your webinar. You're having another webinar on Saturday?
We're not having one this Saturday, but twice a week on Sunday evening and also on Wednesday evening, we hold what we call a No Hype Live broadcast, and that's live, and subscribers can ask unlimited questions. We take questions from members. We show you exactly what we're looking at. We show you our cycle work and everything that we're doing, and we do that twice a week for all Research Center subscribers. Okay, so it's Sunday, and what's the other day? Wednesday evening. Okay, so the next one coming up is Sunday, and what is that? Go to inthemoneystocks.com to register for that? Yes, go to inthemoneystocks.com. You could also give us a call at 212, area code 380-1578. Yeah, do that, and then that's where you can kind of take some time instead of just having to cram all this in 10 minutes, but actually take some time and walk through some of the support levels that you see the market going to for the buying opportunity for the next rally on the stock market and also this top here in copper. Yep. All right. Exactly. Thanks, Nick. I appreciate that. Thank you very much, Michael. Have a great day. You too. All right, that was Nick Santiago, President and CEO of InTheMoneyStocks.com. Go.